Good morning, everyone. As the years go by, one of the most common discomforts many individuals over 60 experience is hip pain, stiffness in the morning, soreness after a walk, or that dull ache after sitting too long. But here's the encouraging truth. You can take control of your hip health naturally, starting with simple changes to your daily routine. As individuals advance into their 60s and beyond, the human body begins to show signs of natural aging, particularly in major weight-bearing joints such as the hips. The hip joint, a ball and socket structure, is responsible for a wide range of motion and stability. Over time, this joint becomes vulnerable to degeneration, primarily due to gradual wear and tear. One of the key components contributing to this process is the decline in synovial fluid production. Synovial fluid acts as a lubricant within the joint, reducing friction between the articulating surfaces of the femoral head and the acetabulum. In youth, this fluid is abundant and of high quality, facilitating smooth movement. However, as people age, the production and viscosity of synovial fluid diminish, resulting in increased joint friction and stiffness, especially after periods of inactivity such as sitting or sleeping. In addition to reduced lubrication, the cartilage that lines the surfaces of the hip joint also begins to degrade. This articular cartilage plays a crucial role in absorbing shock and enabling smooth joint articulation. With aging, cartilage loses its elasticity and thickness due to decreased cellular regeneration and exposure to mechanical stress accumulated over a lifetime. Microtraumas and small injuries, often unnoticed during younger years, accumulate and compromise cartilage integrity. As it wears away, the underlying bone may become exposed, leading to bone-on-bone contact, which further accelerates joint damage and can result in inflammation, swelling, and chronic pain. Supporting musculature around the hip, such as the gluteal muscles, iliopsoas, and quadriceps, also undergo changes with age. Muscle mass and strength naturally decline in a process known as sarcopenia, which begins in the 5th decade of life and accelerates thereafter. This weakening of surrounding muscles reduces the stability and alignment of the hip joint. Muscles that once absorbed shock and helped distribute mechanical loads become less effective, forcing the joint itself to bear more direct pressure during daily activities like walking, climbing stairs, or standing from a seated position. When these muscles are not adequately engaged or conditioned, the biomechanics of movement are altered, increasing the risk of joint misalignment, falls, and further joint deterioration. Another critical factor is the reduction in physical activity that often accompanies aging. Many seniors, due to fear of injury or pain, may become increasingly sedentary. Unfortunately, this lack of movement can lead to joint stiffness and further weakening of the muscles and ligaments that support the hip. Immobility also restricts blood flow, which is essential for delivering nutrients to joint tissues and for removing metabolic waste. Without regular low-impact movement, the body loses its ability to maintain joint health, creating a cycle where inactivity leads to further degeneration. The aging hip joint is also susceptible to inflammatory responses. With advancing age, low-grade systemic inflammation, sometimes referred to as inflammaging, becomes more prevalent. This chronic inflammation can contribute to the breakdown of joint structures and exacerbate existing degeneration. Cellular repair mechanisms also slow with age, making recovery from minor joint injuries slower and less effective. The cumulative effect of these biological and mechanical changes is a hip joint that becomes progressively less resilient and more prone to pain, stiffness, and restricted mobility. Daily movement plays a critical role in maintaining hip health, especially for individuals over the age of 60. As the body ages, the tendency to slow down and reduce physical activity becomes more common, often due to pain, fear of falling, or a general decrease in energy. However, a sedentary lifestyle can actually worsen these issues rather than alleviate them. When the body remains inactive for extended periods, joints become stiff, muscles begin to atrophy, and the tissues that support movement lose their elasticity and responsiveness. The hip joint, being one of the most heavily utilized and weight-bearing joints, is particularly vulnerable to the negative effects of inactivity. One of the key physiological benefits of daily movement is its ability to stimulate circulation. Regular movement encourages blood flow to muscles, tendons, ligaments, and joint tissues, delivering essential oxygen and nutrients while removing waste products. This increased circulation not only helps maintain tissue health but also supports the production of synovial fluid, the lubricant within the hip joint that reduces friction during movement. With age, the natural production of synovial fluid decreases, but daily movement can help promote its flow and distribution, resulting in smoother, more comfortable motion. Gentle, Targeted exercises that are safe and appropriate for seniors can counteract the stiffness that often accompanies aging. Stretching, for example, helps lengthen tight muscles and improve flexibility. Simple stretches that focus on the hip flexors, hamstrings, and gluteal muscles can prevent shortening and tightness that may otherwise lead to imbalances and improper joint mechanics. These imbalances can place unnecessary strain on the hip joint, increasing discomfort and the likelihood of injury. In contrast, a consistent stretching routine helps maintain proper alignment and ease of movement. Low-impact activities such as walking, swimming, or cycling on a stationary bike can also have profound benefits. These forms of exercise keep the hip joint engaged without placing excessive stress on it. Unlike high-impact movements, which can damage already weakened joints, low-impact exercises strengthen the muscles around the hip while maintaining joint integrity. Walking in particular is one of the simplest and most accessible forms of movement. It requires no special equipment and helps maintain bone density, improve balance, and reduce stiffness, all of which contribute to long-term hip health. Daily movement also stimulates the nervous system and helps preserve proprioception, the body's sense of its own position in space. As people age, this sense can diminish, leading to instability and an increased risk of falls. Regular movement reinforces neural pathways associated with coordination and balance, providing an added layer of protection against injury. Even short sessions of movement spaced throughout the day can make a significant difference, as they prevent the joints from becoming locked in one position and encourage fluidity in daily motions such as getting up from a chair or stepping over obstacles. The psychological benefits of daily movement should not be overlooked. Engaging in physical activity, even at a gentle pace, boosts mood, reduces anxiety, and promotes a sense of well-being. This positive mental state can in turn enhance motivation to remain active, creating a reinforcing cycle that benefits both mind and body. Strengthening the muscles that surround the hip joint is one of the most effective ways to maintain mobility, reduce pain, and prevent injury as the body ages. For individuals over 60, the gluteal muscles, quadriceps, and core play an especially important role in supporting the hip joint. These muscle groups act as stabilizers, shock absorbers, and movement facilitators, all of which are essential to maintaining healthy joint function during daily activities. As the body ages, natural muscle loss, also known as sarcopenia, can lead to decreased strength, balance, and joint stability. However, consistent, targeted muscle strengthening can slow or even reverse some of these effects. The gluteal muscles, including the gluteus maximus, medius, and minimus, are the primary stabilizers of the hip. When these muscles are strong, they help maintain proper alignment of the pelvis and hips, particularly during walking, standing, or climbing stairs. Weak gluteal muscles can lead to increased stress on the hip joint and surrounding structures, contributing to discomfort and instability. Strengthening these muscles through exercises such as bridges, standing hip abductions, and side-lying leg lifts helps restore balance to the hip and reduces compensatory movements that may otherwise harm the lower back or knees. The quadriceps, located at the front of the thigh, are another critical muscle group that supports the hip joint. These muscles assist in extending the knee and play a vital role in transitions such as rising from a chair, climbing stairs, or walking uphill. As quadriceps strength diminishes with age, individuals may notice difficulty with these tasks, which can lead to reduced confidence and increased risk of falls. Simple exercises like seated leg lifts, wall sits, or mini squats can effectively target the quadriceps in a controlled and safe manner. These movements not only build strength but also improve endurance and function. Core muscles, including the abdominals and lower back muscles, provide stability to the entire trunk and pelvis. A strong core ensures that the hip joint functions within a stable and supported framework, reducing the likelihood of abnormal movement patterns that place stress on the joint. Core strength also enhances balance and coordination, which are crucial for preventing falls. Gentle exercises such as seated pelvic tilts, modified planks, or engaging the abdominal muscles during everyday movements can be beneficial without placing excessive strain on the body. The key to successful muscle strengthening in older adults lies in consistency, proper form, and gradual progression. Exercises should be performed with attention to alignment and should never cause pain. Using body weight, resistance bands, or light weights can offer the appropriate challenge while minimizing the risk of injury. Short, regular sessions performed several times a week are more effective and safer than infrequent, high-intensity efforts. Strengthening these muscle groups not only alleviates stress on the hip joint itself but also enhances overall function, making daily tasks more manageable and increasing overall independence. Nutrition plays a vital role in managing joint health, particularly when it comes to reducing inflammation, which is a major contributor to hip pain and degeneration in older adults. As people age, the body's natural inflammatory processes can become more active, leading to increased discomfort, swelling, and stiffness in joints like the hips. Chronic, low-grade inflammation, sometimes referred to as inflammaging, can accelerate the breakdown of cartilage and impair joint function. One of the most powerful and accessible ways to combat this is through dietary choices that either suppress or fuel inflammation. By choosing foods that are rich in anti-inflammatory compounds and avoiding those that promote inflammation, seniors can support their hip health and overall mobility from within. Omega-3 fatty acids are among the most potent natural anti-inflammatories found in food. These healthy fats are found in fatty fish such as salmon, sardines, and mackerel, as well as in flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts. Omega-3s help regulate the body's inflammatory response and have been shown in numerous studies to reduce joint pain and stiffness in individuals with arthritis and other degenerative joint conditions. Including these foods in the diet several times a week can help reduce inflammation in the hip joints and improve comfort during movement. Antioxidants are another crucial component in an anti-inflammatory diet. Found in colorful fruits and vegetables, antioxidants such as vitamin C, vitamin E, and polyphenol help neutralize free radicals, unstable molecules that damage cells and contribute to inflammation. Berries, citrus fruits, leafy greens, carrots, and bell peppers are all rich in these protective compounds. Spices such as turmeric and ginger are also powerful anti-inflammatories and can be easily incorporated into meals or beverages. Regular consumption of antioxidant-rich foods helps protect joint tissues from oxidative stress, slows down the aging of cartilage, and enhances the body's natural healing mechanisms. Hydration also plays an essential role in maintaining joint health. Water is necessary for the production and maintenance of synovial fluid, which lubricates the hip joint and reduces friction during movement. Dehydration can make joints feel stiff and painful, especially in older adults whose thirst signals may become less reliable with age. Drinking adequate water throughout the day, along with consuming water-rich foods like cucumbers, watermelon, and oranges, helps keep the joints well lubricated and functioning properly. Equally important as including anti-inflammatory foods is avoiding those that contribute to inflammation. Processed sugars, refined carbohydrates, and trans fats found in many packaged snacks, fried foods, and sugary beverages are known to trigger inflammatory pathways in the body. These foods not only promote inflammation but can also contribute to weight gain, which adds further stress to the hip joints. Reducing or eliminating these foods from the diet can significantly lessen the burden on the joints and improve overall health. Making gradual, sustainable changes to daily eating habits can lead to meaningful improvements in joint function, pain levels, and quality of life. With each nourishing meal and glass of water, the body is better equipped to protect and repair the hip joint, promoting long-term mobility and comfort. Posture and body mechanics have a profound impact on the health and longevity of the hip joint, especially in individuals over the age of 60. As the body ages, structural changes in bones, muscles, and connective tissues can alter alignment and movement patterns, often without the person even realizing it. These subtle shifts can lead to poor posture and inefficient body mechanics, which place unnecessary strain on the hips during everyday activities. Over time, this strain accelerates joint wear and contributes to discomfort, stiffness, and reduced mobility. The way a person sits, stands, walks, and transitions between movements directly affects the load distribution across the hip joint and surrounding structures. One of the most common postural issues in older adults is the tendency to slouch or lean forward when sitting or standing. This posture places the pelvis in a tilted position, which increases pressure on the front of the hip joint and shortens the hip flexor muscles. When repeated daily, this imbalanced posture alters muscle length and strength relationships around the joint, often resulting in a loss of joint stability and an increased risk of injury. Sitting for long periods with legs crossed or knees turned inward can also misalign the hips and promote uneven joint wear. Maintaining a neutral spine with the shoulders back, the pelvis aligned, and feet flat on the ground can alleviate some of this stress and promote healthier joint mechanics. Walking patterns, or gait mechanics, are another key factor in hip joint health. Many older adults develop compensatory walking habits due to weakness, stiffness, or pain, such as limping, dragging the feet, or shifting weight unevenly from one leg to the other. These adaptations can create a domino effect of muscle imbalances and joint strain. For example, placing too much weight on one side of the body can cause the opposite hip to overcompensate, leading to accelerated degeneration on both sides. Regular evaluation of walking patterns, either through physical therapy or mindful observation, can help individuals identify and correct poor mechanics before they lead to further joint damage. Standing posture is also crucial. Locking the knees, leaning to one side, or tilting the pelvis can disrupt the body's natural alignment and increase compression in the hip joints. Even subtle adjustments in how one stands, such as evenly distributing weight between both legs, keeping the spine upright, and aligning the knees with the feet, can greatly reduce unnecessary joint stress. It is also important to pay attention to transitions, such as moving from sitting to standing or bending to pick something up. These movements, if performed incorrectly, can place sudden and excessive strain on the hips. Using the legs rather than the back for lifting, engaging the core muscles for stability, and moving slowly and deliberately can help preserve joint integrity. For individuals with significant balance or strength challenges, the use of assistive devices such as walking sticks, canes, or supportive footwear may be necessary. These tools, when used correctly, help redistribute load, improve stability, and reduce the likelihood of falls. They should be viewed not as a sign of frailty but as practical solutions to support independence and joint preservation. Making posture and movement awareness a regular part of daily life empowers individuals to protect their hips and move with greater ease and confidence. Healing and maintaining the health of the hips through natural means requires a steady and intentional approach. For individuals over the age of 60, the body responds best to routines that are gentle, consistent, and tailored to their specific needs. While it may be tempting to engage in intense bursts of exercise or make drastic lifestyle changes in the hopes of rapid improvement, the truth is that sustainable healing and functional improvement occur gradually. High-intensity efforts, especially when inconsistent or poorly executed, can do more harm than good by stressing already vulnerable joints and muscles. In contrast, a steady, moderate daily routine offers cumulative benefits that support joint integrity, muscle strength, flexibility, and overall well-being. Consistency creates momentum in the body's healing process. When the hips are engaged in regular movement and care, the supporting muscles become stronger, circulation improves, inflammation can be more easily managed, and joint function is preserved. Even small, manageable efforts, such as gentle stretches in the morning, a short walk after meals, or a few minutes of strength training each day, can add up over time. The goal is not to perform a perfect or strenuous routine, but to maintain a rhythm that keeps the hips engaged and prevents regression. The body thrives on repetition and predictability, and with age, this becomes even more important. Regular input signals to the body that these areas are in use, encouraging the repair and maintenance of joint tissues and muscle fibers. Moderate activity, when performed daily, also helps avoid injury. Sudden or irregular bouts of exercise can shock the muscles and joints, leading to inflammation, soreness, or even acute injuries such as strains or tears. Seniors are particularly susceptible to such risks due to decreased bone density, muscle elasticity, and slower recovery times. By contrast, consistent moderate effort allows the body to adapt at a pace that is safe and manageable. It builds resilience rather than exhaustion. Over time, this slow but steady conditioning improves mobility, reduces stiffness, and enhances balance and coordination. Psychologically, a consistent routine reinforces discipline and confidence. Establishing simple daily habits promotes a sense of control and achievement, which is especially empowering for those dealing with chronic pain or mobility limitations. Rather than feeling overwhelmed by large or unrealistic goals, focusing on daily progress helps individuals remain motivated and invested in their long-term health. It also allows room for mindfulness and body awareness, helping individuals tune into how their body feels and make adjustments as needed. Equally important is the principle of listening to the body and adapting the routine when necessary. On days when the hips feel sore or fatigued, a lighter routine focused on stretching or deep breathing may be more appropriate. On days when energy is higher, additional repetitions or slightly longer walks can be incorporated. This flexibility within a consistent framework ensures that the routine remains effective and sustainable. Healing the hips naturally is not about intensity or perfection. It is about persistence, patience, and trust in the body's capacity to regenerate and strengthen over time.